Basically, the Golden Temple is a pristine, gilded monument and a place of the ultimate place of worship for the Sikhs. So, the environment definitely plays a role in keeping the place in its pristine form. We have already had 2 instances where the gilding of the Golden Temple had to be changed, which in effect means that the impact of the various forces on the environment are negative towards it. Our faith, the Gurbani itself, talks about Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, Mata Tart Mahat in Punjabi, which basically means that we equate the air to the Guru, the teacher. Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, that means the father is the water and the mother is the earth. So we as Sikhs have to be mindful of the impact of the elements of nature and of course the human footprint, which is today playing a huge part on the environment as such. If you see, dust in itself plays a big part. Pollution which is caused in the air because of fires being lit on garbage, or the post-harvest crops which are burnt, they create a huge smog which also impacts. The eateries and the factories which are in and around the Golden Temple in a periphery of about 3 kilometers impact the gilt edging of the gold plating of the Golden Temple. So these are on the air side. Apart from that, the city is pretty much full of garbage, and the lifting and the processing is not proper. Even the dump which is there is just about, as the crow flies, just about 1 kilometer or so from the Golden Temple, the Bhaktawala dump, which is now getting converted into a waste management plant. God forbid that this is not of the right caliber, and it also it's incinerator based, wherein it generates a lot of pollution. That will be a huge impact which can come, because we generate about 700 to 800 tons of waste in the city. So these are the various elements which are there. The toxicity in the water is also another element, because that same water evaporates and then comes down as rain. The same water is in the sarovar, the water tank around the Golden Temple. So the quality of that water is also important. Amritsar is surrounded by farms which are using a high degree of pesticide and fertilizer content. So which in effect means that there are toxins which are going down to the groundwater, which are again coming back onto the usage as such. The soil is getting contaminated, and therefore that creates an impact. So there are various elements which are now working towards against the conservation and preservation of these monuments, which we have to be mindful of. Amritsar as a holy city is nowhere near the protected levels which should be there, and we need to do a hell of a lot of more to protect the holy city status of this city and the effect of environmental degradation which comes in. We work on different fronts. I would call ourselves, our various organizations, whether it is the Eco Amritsar program which we run, or the Dilbir Foundation which I head as well. We work towards participative advocacy. We work with the SGPC, which runs the various gurdwaras, including the Harimandar Sahib, the Golden Temple. We also work with various stakeholders, and which are part and parcel of this Eco Amritsar program, to change lifestyles, make them more sustainable. That if we are able to have sustainable lifetimes, we will ensure that pollution standards come down. So these are the levels at which we work. We work with institutions, corporates, at every level to engage with them and sell the idea of sustainable lifestyles. You know, lately Punjab government has come out with a complete ban on plastics, which is very, very healthy indeed. Our engagement with the government is also on various levels where we wish to decrease the level of pollution which is there. But if I say I'm satisfied, well, regulations are in place, implementation and execution is weak. My feeling is that no movement is really successful unless it goes down to the grassroots level. Unless we build the groundswell. For example, one of the main focus area and my motto for the city, which I keep talking to people about, is Amritsar, my city, my pride, my responsibility. So at every levels of the population, it is imperative that people take responsibility or as citizens of the city and come forward and do the change which requires to be brought about. Only then it will happen. I think regulation is one thing. Implementation has to be good. But execution will remain tardy unless the people, the citizens come together. And therefore, it is imperative that the government engages with the NGOs and other educational institutions and corporates to bring about this change, which is imperative. The Golden Temple is our legacy, it is our heritage, and must be protected. Eco Amritsar is a program, it's an EcoSick initiative. It takes in its fold stakeholders, which include a variety of stakeholders all over who are NGOs and educational institutions and the people I've talked about. Our effort is to engage with them constantly, create models which can be replicated. A few examples I can give you is the work which we've done in Khadur Sahib, where we started a very small model about 3 years ago of organic cultivation on 3 acres of land, which was very successful and sent a beautiful model message across. This same model is now going to be adopted by the SGPC, who has already allocated about 35 acres of land where they're going to do organic cultivation. Apart from that, we've created eco-friendly parks so that people don't the park doesn't throw out garbage, which would induce neighbors and the community around to throw more garbage and light it every day. So that creates a lot of impact on the environment as well. My home is a zero garbage household, which consumes all its green garbage, which is about 80% of the garbage that we come out with, in bins, in eco bins, from which we make compost, and we do organic cultivation on our terrace, where we grow toxin-free vegetables for the family. Similarly, our 20% garbage which is left behind, which is bottles and plastic and whatever have you, goes into recycling. So we believe that it is important to create the models which can be replicated. And we do that with all the organizations, including the Khalsa College, which has now started an organic farm. You know, the Golden Temple management, which is the SGPC, is doing a fair amount of work, and they are making the change which is required. Mind you that we feed about 75,000 pilgrims on a daily basis at the Golden Temple, and therefore we used to use tons of firewood on a daily basis. That is now being converted into LPG-based cooking. Solar heaters have been put up for the water and the tea which is to be made. They are putting up centers where pollution can be monitored from the government side, which is being done. So there are initiatives which have been taken by the SGPC. But Khadur Sahib, which you mentioned, is definitely a standalone example of what all can be done. There, the entire cooking is being done with solar for the tea which is made and all that, liquid food which is prepared, as well as the LPG is being used. Water thermal energy is being used and it's being recycled totally. Organic cultivation which is being done. They are phenomenally mindful of the fact that they have to purify the air also, for which they have planted hundreds of kilometers of trees on both sides of the roads. They talk to the farmer to put in, contribute about 10% of their land holding into and convert it into trees and orchards, for which they provide the trees and orchards also. So humongous amount of work is being done by this beautiful green saint called Baba Seva Singh. And that is an example, I think, which can be emulated in all the shrines across the country.